and welcome to Cyberside Chats. Today we're going to talk about the LockBit hack. Yes, the hackers got hacked. And I'm excited. They got a taste of their own medicine.
I mean, it's a hilarious story when we actually dig into it. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
I'm Sherry Davidoff.
I'm Matt Duran.
And this is Cyberside Chats. So, what happened, Matt?
So just a few days ago, as we're recording this, there was a message that popped up on the LockBit ransomware operators' dark web websites that basically said that hacking was bad. It said, don't do crime. Crime is bad. XOXO from Prague. So somebody gained access to at least part of the public-facing infrastructure that LockBit uses, and they went ahead and defaced the website, which, again, from a cybersecurity standpoint for us is hilarious, but it also it adds to some other questions we have about how secure criminal infrastructure might be and things like the data they stole, like who might have access to it.
You know what this reminds me of a little bit?
What?
When the security company HB Gary got hacked years ago, and they totally anonymous hacked them and took down all their stuff and then posted their leaked encrypted emails on their own website. I mean, talk about adding insult to injury there.
Yeah, I feel bad for HB Gary. We actually used to use some of their tools in the forensics lab here, and now we don't, obviously. But
anyway, back to LockBit.
Back to LockBit.
They're the bad guys, not the security company. LockBit got hacked, and they started in 2019. They quickly rose to prominence and became one of the most vicious ransomware gangs. They've hacked, more than 1,000 companies
more than 1,000 companies that we know about, yeah.
And one of the things I'm excited about is actually analyzing who they've been hacking and what their processes are. Okay, we've actually downloaded a copy of the leaked database,
We did,
right?
Yep, no, that's true.
And what is in it?
So in the leaked database, we have a series of chats between Conti and their victims, which is interesting enough, but
totally.
I think the really interesting thing here is that we got 60,000 Bitcoin wallets that are included in that database.
Yes.
And when we talk about the group itself, like LockBit, and how prolific they've been, how much they've actually taken back in ransom. This comes back to the Conti ransomware hack that happened back in 2021, 2022.
As scientists, there's not enough visibility in the data. When people say, oh, this is the average amount of ransom payment, they might be getting that from insurance companies and their payments. They might be getting it from cryptocurrency payment or from ransom payment companies. Companies like Digital Mint that specialize in moving cryptocurrency.
Right, or Chainalysis who does blockchain forensics.
But there's not really a way to see everything or to know exactly what is going to a ransomware gang. And I see why it reminds you of Conti, because when the Conti ransomware gang got hacked back in 2022, we found out that, they had actually stolen what in the time was equivalent to billions. I think it was $2.7 billion.
It was 5 times what we thought they had actually stolen at that point. We thought it was 460-something million, turned out to be 2.7 billion.
Well, when you say Chainalysis reports at the time said that all ransomware gangs had stolen something like $400 million combined in 1 year. And now we find out that all of a sudden the Conti ransomware gang had stolen billions of dollars by themselves because their Bitcoin addresses had been leaked, and so you could actually add it all up.
Right.
And that has just happened to LockBit. So be prepared to hear about wild increases in the estimated amounts of ransoms that have been paid, because all of a sudden this is visible, right, Matt?
Right. No, yeah, we can see every single one of those wallet addresses. And remember, the Bitcoin blockchain, it's pseudo-anonymous. Meaning that we don't necessarily get to see a name and address of the person that has one of these wallets, but we do get to see the action that wallet has taken.
Right.
That is completely public. So now we can actually track all of these payments, which I'm really excited about going into doing, because I want to see how much money these guys have actually sucked out of organizations at this point. Yeah.
I can't wait for the analysis. I'm sure over the next few weeks and months, we're going to see people adding it all up and more information coming out about that. And it might also be possible to figure out who some of the victims are. We'll see.
No, we'll see. Yeah.
So it's also interesting to talk about what exactly was hacked, because it wasn't LockBit's entire infrastructure. It was a panel. It's some web panel used by affiliates, right?
Right. Yeah. So it wasn't their their internal code base or anything like that. It wasn't their client database, as they like to call it. It was a forward-facing server that they have.
Victims?
By client, I mean victim. Yes,
okay,
that's
that
LockBit calls their victims clients. So we're going to go with their terms.
Okay, they kind of are.
But no, they didn't make it deep into the infrastructure, which other people have before. LockBit's been hacked before. It's not something new necessarily, but they are resilient enough that they've been able to come back, and they're already back up from this one. So we'll have to watch out for that. But yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and that's important to know as well. So LockBit is back up. They've restored that piece of their operations.
Right.
And I love their statement. So they came out with a press release about their data breach, just like legitimate companies.
Uh-huh.
And here, listen to this. On May 7th, 2025, says LockBit. One of our lightweight panels with auto registration capability was compromised. Anyone could bypass authentication and access it directly. I like that they're honest.
They are.
The database was stolen, but no decryptors or sensitive data from victim companies were involved. So they're like reassuring you, just like legit companies do, like, don't worry.
Don't worry. If we hacked you, your data's still safe. So
yeah,
don't
your
worry.
data's still safe. Okay, then they go on to say, we are investigating the exact method of intrusion and have initiated the rebuilding process. The main control panel and blog remain operational.
Yep.
Thanks, LockBit.
So I can verify, I checked on their website today, and there is a basically down for maintenance message that's, I grabbed a video screenshot of it just because it's
awesome.
fun
Oh yeah,
to
it's
have,
got like moving things. It could totally been made in like 1998.
But yeah, they're letting us know that, they'll be back up soon. Sorry, our system is down for unexpected upgrades, so, here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and this is very different than last year in 2024 when there was an actual law enforcement operation that, quote, took down LockBit. And when we were noodling on titles today, we were like, the fall of LockBit? No, if they did fall, they totally bounced back already. Like, maybe they stumbled a little bit. But what happened last year when law enforcement took them down? Like, why did they come back?
Well, I mean, they were able to get into some of LockBit's server architecture, so they were able to get at that point. Law enforcement was, yeah. They were able to get some of their decryption keys. They were able to get some other information about it. But LockBit is such a disparate organization. Like they're not. It's not like they're all working in an office building somewhere. I mean, these guys have one of the biggest ransomware affiliate networks on the planet, and they're all over the world at this point. So
it's like a hydra with many heads.
Exactly.
That's what Bruce Schneier called. I think it was the Stormworm or Wolodeck.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. A hydra.
Regardless, I mean, they were law enforcement was able to take down like some of their core infrastructure, but I mean, all they had to do at that point was find a new place to host it, and they were back online within like a month. Yeah, so yeah.
Well, and one of the most dangerous trends that I think we see is that when a ransomware gang is, quote, taken down, their code base is leaked, their resources, anything remaining is shared and used to restart operations. And we actually saw this. We've talked a lot about Conti during this podcast about LockBit, because of course the Conti infrastructure, when that gang was hacked, they disbanded. They basically fell apart. And then their code base was leaked and was used in LockBit operations.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they fell apart so much as they redistributed.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I mean, they became Black Cat and Black Basta and like a lot of the other big ransomware gangs that we see now.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all ex-Conti operators, and they use the same code and they use the same tactics. Like
it's like saying the Brat Pack no longer exists, but all of them went on to do other things.
That is, yes, that is true.
Okay. So what else do we have left to talk about? Oh, I'm excited about the chat messages.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also disappointed in the chat messages. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
You just feel disappointed, right?
Yes, because when Conti got hacked, we got everything. We got the dirt. It was like chats between members. You saw the internal stuff. And now all we have, which is still pretty good, is chats between the criminals and their victims.
Right.
So actually that's kind of cool because at least me, I would like to do an analysis and see like what works, like what actually makes them drop their prices.
Yeah.
What percentage discount can you get? Do they get mad? What makes them stop talking to you? I think all of this psychology will really help in the ransom negotiation process, which is really important.
Yeah, no, I think that's a huge thing, is that we get to see a behind-the-scenes look at how they, at least from an affiliate network, negotiate with their victims. Because it's not the same person that's performing all of these negotiations. This is all of their affiliates, but they all have a very similar style of negotiating, which leads me to believe that there's some kind of instruction set they probably have about how to actually go through this. So I'm curious as to what else we can glean from these kind of chats. Like, what do they actually do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So our number one takeaway here is really stay tuned.
Yeah.
This is only the beginning of the analysis of the LockBit dump, and we're going to hear more about the money, about statistics on ransom payments.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll hear things, and actually we are going to do our own analysis. We will see things about tips for ransom negotiation and information that we learned from analyzing this data in depth. It's all in a SQL database that's being distributed around the dark web right now. So can't wait to see what's in it and to have time to really pick it apart and analyze it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting once we really get into like the finite details of it, which, I mean, that'll take time, but it's, oh man, I'm excited to get it.
It'll be cool.
Yeah.
It'll be cool. Number two?
Number two, I mean, what this really tells us is, despite the fact that Conti was, quote, taken down, which of course they weren't, we really do need to be planning for ransomware. Like, ransomware is here to stay. It is a type of cybercrime that has proven to be successful. It has been for years at this point. It is not going away. So,
and these guys are professionals.
Oh, and these guys are like one of the most prolific ransomware groups on the planet. So,
that's what I get from their statement. Like a very professional-looking statement.
Yeah. They have PR at this point. Like, it's ridiculous. But it just means that this is a threat that we're going to have to continue to deal with. And so, from a defensive standpoint, I mean, you just need to be ready for it. Have good backups. Put it into your IR planning. The steps you take if you do suffer a ransomware attack. Proactively stop people from getting into your network, because remember, when ransomware groups break in, I mean, for the most part, they're not getting in through some like super sophisticated zero-day attack or something like that. It's going to be a software vulnerability. It's going to be broken username and password. It's going to be lack of MFA. It's going to be the easy stuff that most of them are going to go after. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Takeaway number 3, take proactive measures to protect yourself, especially with AI. We just did that presentation at RSA where we analyzed hacker AI tools, and it is getting easier and easier for hackers to break in. And we can see from looking at the money, from looking at the numbers, that the criminals are very effective at converting their access into dollars.
Right.
So make sure our enemy is organized crime. They're very organized, and they're going to keep leveling up. So make sure you are taking proactive measures like having robust identity and access management, having regular, secure backups, probably the number one thing.
Yeah.
Making sure you're applying patches as quickly as possible to address vulnerabilities.
Yep. And then lastly, I mean, and this is something that came up in a previous podcast we did where we were talking about government funding and the ISAC is being defunded and everything like that. Make sure that information is getting out there. So if there is something that you are seeing and you have a presence in the cybersecurity security community or even a tech community around you, like make sure people know about it. Because those kind of things, like if you're seeing a specific tactic they're using, a specific exploit they're going after, those can be hugely important in stopping hackers from getting into other networks.
We need to be smarter as a group.
We really do.
There's one takeaway we forgot.
What's that?
Okay, LockBit got hacked, right?
Right.
And it was their web panel that got hacked, likely because of the vulnerability.
I know where you're
still
going
figuring
with this.
this out. I mean, software developers and researchers have already started analyzing the web logs that were leaked, so we know that they were scanned and things like that, likely a software vulnerability. And I think we should learn from the hack itself to test your web applications proactively, make sure you're conducting penetration testing, and patch those holes so you don't end up like poor LockBit hacked.
Do we have to say
hackers.
poor LockBit?
Actually, they're very rich.
Yeah,
we'll find out exactly how rich soon. All right, thank you for tuning in to Cyberside Chats. We will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.